Live to the Kenny Report.
Let's go to the locked down national capital now, and up at Parliament House, Senator Hollie Hughes, Liberal Senator for New South Wales, joins us. Good to talk to you, Hollie. First up, when it comes to mandating vaccines, the Prime Minister's made it clear today there'll be no general mandate of vaccinations across the country, but some workplaces will be able to make it mandatory for their employers. Some business leaders, we've heard from Ross Greenwood, are saying that they definitely want to mandate vaccines in their workplace. This is going to be a bit of a battle around the country, isn't it? State by state, company by company.
And it is a minefield when it comes down to it, because at the end of the day, if a state wants to put in place mandatory vaccinations, they can under their health orders. If a business wants to do it, they, obviously then take the risks with their employers, resisting that, maybe moving on. But they're also faced with a situation where if they don't have all their workers vaccinated, potentially they could be putting other staff at risk. And if someone was to get ill, perhaps they could then take action against their workplace. So there's lots of levels of complexity here. But that I think, maybe businesses need to start looking at it even as their own marketing tool. We had some of those anti-vaxxer losers out in the beginning saying mask-free environment, you're free to come in here. Well, maybe it goes the other way, where businesses are able to say all our staff are vaccinated, particularly with those customer-facing businesses. Not every business is the same, not every workplace is the same. And I think we're seeing the outbreak in Sydney at that special needs school that, we need to start looking at different workplaces and the roles that people play, what their interactions are, and what the risk is of them not only getting ill, but we do know once you're vaccinated, you're less likely to pass it on as well if you do contract it. So there's lots of complexities to this, but the Prime Minister was very strong today, saying that it definitely won't be nationally mandated.
All right, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall if they were all in the one room, I suppose, because National Cabinet happens virtually now. I suppose I would have loved to have been a hacker
on the Zoom call.
Fly on the Zoom call in National Cabinet today, because, of course, what's happening here is New South Wales is gradually realising that this is not about eliminating the virus now, it's about keeping a lid on this outbreak until we open up with 70% vaccination in late October, perhaps. But the pressure is coming on from the other states. They want Gladys Berejiklian to do more to crush the virus in New South Wales. They've all had a go. Here's Anastasia Palaszczuk today.
This virus, once it takes hold, it's hard to stop. So what are the plans for containment?
Do you think, though, a statewide lockdown would be much clearer in terms of containment then?
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing those plans today.
You would welcome that, though?
Sorry?
You would welcome the statewide lockdown?
Let's hear what they have to say first. But it's encroaching into regional parts of New South Wales. It's encroaching north. It's encroaching south. It's now in the ACT. This is really concerning.
Yeah, some federation we got now. We've got the premiers of Victoria and Western Australia and Queensland telling the New South Wales Premier how to run her state. Do you think that they're going to have an impact on what happens in Sydney?
I don't think so. I mean, there's been a consistent pile on Gladys since this whole thing started. And, when you think about it, Queensland, Victoria and WA, bit of a theme there. On the attacks on Gladys that's consistently happening. And I think, we need to remember when we started this pandemic back in March last year, the lockdown was there to get the hospitals prepared, to make sure that we had ventilators and those sorts of equipment ready if the outbreak was to occur, which we were very fortunate that it didn't. But it was never about zero cases. And the fact that we've now got so many premiers and so many people seeming to think we need to look for a total elimination strategy, we haven't eliminated influenza A. People die from that every year. We may have to learn to live with the virus, and some people will die from it. It's tragic and it's sad, but people die all the time, every day. We seem to have removed and lost our tolerance for anyone to die from anything. Well, vaccination's the key.
That's not a question. That's an absolute inevitable reality.
Yeah, but New South Wales has hit over 50% today of eligible people have hit over 50% have received a vaccine. Now, the other states love to pile onto New South Wales. So have a look at how their vaccination rollout is, exponentially increasing consistently. And we would welcome them to join, competing with us to try and get their rates
let's
up.
have a race. Let's have a race between the states on vaccination.
You want a race? Let's have a race to get your vaccination up.
Indeed.
Let's not talk down AZ. Let's look at what Queensland did around AstraZeneca.
Sorry to cut you off, Senator. We are out of time. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Senator Hollie Hughes there.